Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I got a crazy current events video for you guys, and I gotta warn you guys, the stupidity levels in this are off the charts. They are off the charts. This is one of the stupidest articles I've ever read, and this is just proof of just how out of touch the media is with gamers. And this article is from the New York Times. And let's read this, and I'll link this article down below. Children's screen time has soared in the pandemic, alarming parents and researchers. There will be a period of epic withdrawal, warned one addiction specialist, once schools' activities and social life return to normal. During the long months of lockdowns and shuttered schools, Mr. Rightshirt, like many parents, overlooked the vastly increasing time that his son was spending on video games and social media. Now James, who used to focus his free time on mountain biking and playing basketball, devotes nearly all of his leisure hours, about 40 a week, to Xbox and his phone. During their argument, he pleaded with his father not to restrict access, calling his phone his whole life. That was the tipping point. His whole life, said Mr. Rightshirt, a technical administrator in the local sheriff's office. I'm not losing my son to this. Oh my god, where do I start with this? First of all, this kid is 14 years old. He's 14 years old. This doesn't shock me at all when he says that his phone is his whole life. He's being overly dramatic. He doesn't mean that. When this kid is going to be in his mid-20s, he's going to have a completely different outlook on things. I knew people in middle school who played video games almost every day for hours, and now some of them who are in their mid-20s don't even play video games at all. People change as they get older. If this was somebody in their mid-20s that was talking about their phone, that would be a different story. But this is a 14-year-old kid who is being overly dramatic. And look at how stupid this article is. Now James, who used to focus his free time on mountain biking and playing basketball, devotes nearly all of his leisure hours, about 40 a week, to Xbox and his phone. I wonder why. I wonder why he's not playing basketball that requires other players. I wonder why he's not mountain biking, which you would typically do with friends. Why is he not doing those activities? Why is he spending more time inside and on his Xbox? Could it be because of constant lockdowns? Could it be because people are stuck at home? People can't meet up with their friends or do any of these activities? And look, I understand why people are staying home. I get that. There's a virus crisis. People don't want to risk getting other people sick. I fully understand that. I'm not saying that kids should break lockdown. But what I'm saying is that with a lot of kids being stuck at home for a long time, a lot of kids, they've been home for many months. They haven't gone to school. They haven't seen their friends in a very long time. With kids being more isolated, of course, people are going to be more on their devices. They're going to be on YouTube. They're going to be playing video games, because when they play video games, oftentimes they're online. And do you know what that does? That allows them to interact with their friends. It allows them to talk to their friends without being right next to them, so they can still technically virtually hang out with their friends. That's why kids are more likely to be on video games. It's not a coincidence that when people are stuck at home, they're more likely to be playing video games. That's a direct correlation. And I don't understand how the New York Times can't put two and two together and figure that out. You know, when I was in high school, I remember when teachers would constantly say, oh, the New York Times is written by professional writers. These people know what they're talking about. This is a professional newspaper. This is, from what I'm reading here, this is not professional. This person has no idea what they're talking about. And the reason that they're making this stupid story like this is for headline news. Because, think about it this way. People that read the New York Times, mostly adults, mostly parents, they're going to be reading through stuff like this, and they're going to see, oh, my kids are spending more time on video games. This is dangerous. Let me look at this. And it grabs their attention, and that's how these medias make more money. More headline news, more viewers, more newspapers sold, they make more money. Nearly a year into the coronavirus pandemic, parents across the country and the world are watching their children slide down an increasing slippery path into an all-consuming digital life. When the outbreak hit, many parents relaxed restrictions on screens as a stopgap way to keep frustrated, restless children entertained and engaged. But often, remaining limits have vaporized as computers, tablets, and phones became the centerpiece of school and social life. And weeks of stay-at-home rules bled into nearly a year. The situation is alarming parents and scientists too. There will be a period of epic withdrawal, says Keith Humphreys, a professor of psychology at Stanford University, an addiction expert, and a former senior advisor to President Barack Obama on drug policy. It will, he said, require young people to sustain attention in normal interactions without getting a reward hit every few seconds. Now look, I don't want to get into politics here. I don't do politics on this channel. This is a gaming channel. We don't do politics. But I'm going to say about this professor right here. Let me get this straight. The New York Times is asking a professor that's an expert on drug addiction about video games? Seriously? You're comparing video games to drugs? It will, he said, require young people to sustain attention in normal interactions without getting a hit every few seconds. A hit every few seconds? What is that supposed to mean? That sounds like a drug addiction. There will be a period of epic withdrawal. What? What is that supposed to mean? A period of epic withdrawal. They're literally making this seem like it's drugs. They're making video games seem like drugs. Dr. Jenny Radeski, a pediatrician who studies children's use of mobile technology at the University of Michigan, said she did countless media interviews early in the pandemic, telling parents not to feel guilty about allowing more screen time, given the stark challenges of lockdowns. Now she said she'd have given different advice if she had known how long children will end up stuck at home. What do you expect kids to do? Honestly. I probably would have encouraged families to turn off Wi-Fi, except during school hours, so kids don't feel tempted every moment, night and day, she said, adding, the longer they've been doing a habituated behavior, the harder it's going to be to break that habit. What do you expect kids to do? Kids are stuck at home. There's lockdowns. They can't meet up with their friends. They can't socialize with people. A lot of kids can't even go to schools because the schools are closed. So you can't even meet up with people at school. And look, when I was a kid, when I was in middle school, I hated going to school. But the one thing that I did look forward to in school was that I get to see everybody. I get to see some of my teachers that I liked, and I get to socialize and meet up with my friends. That's one thing that I enjoyed about school. But now, with you doing online classes and kids not even really getting to socialize with their friends, they're gonna turn to video games because they can have entertainment, they can do something at home, and at the same time, they can talk to their friends. And I would ask these so-called experts here, these experts on video games, what do you want kids to do? When kids are stuck at home for months, when they're not able to meet up with their friends, what do you expect kids to do? Oh, I know. You know what kids should do? Kids should just sit on the couch and just stare at the ceiling for hours. That's what they should do. You know, that's better than playing video games, right? That's what they should do. That is what these experts probably want kids to do. Probably want them to sit on their couches and just stare up at the ceiling. Or probably want them to read their stupid news media stories. Overall, children's screen time has doubled by May as compared with the same period in the year prior, according to Questido, a company that tracks use on tens of thousands of devices used by children ages 4 to 15 worldwide. The data showed that usage increased as time passed. In the United States, for instance, children spent on average 97 minutes a day on YouTube in March and April, up from 57 minutes in February, and nearly doubled the use a year prior. With similar trends found in Britain and Spain, the company calls the month-by-month increase the COVID effect. Now look, this as a YouTuber I have experience with, and I'll tell you guys, as a YouTuber, I get the most amount of views 2 times in a year. The first time is in the summertime. Around July and August, I get a lot of views. The reason I get a lot of views in July and August, a huge reason for it, is that a lot of people are home because of summer vacation. People that would go to middle school, people that would go to high school, they're home because of summer vacation. Even college students. Most college students, they don't take classes in the summertime, not until the fall starts. So a lot of people are home, and some people also might be on vacation from work around the summertime. So that is why I tend to get a lot of views in July and August. The other time I get a lot of views is in December. The reason in December is because it's the holidays. More people are home, so more people are going to be playing games, watching videos. And as for March and April, those months, they tend to have much less views than July and August. But last year, in 2020, in March and April, I had gotten the most amount of views that I had ever gotten. And the reason for that is because people are stuck at home because of lockdowns. They're stuck at home, they can't go outside, they don't have anything else to do, they can't go to school, a lot of people can't go to work. So you know what they're doing? They're trying to find some way to entertain themselves so that they don't have to constantly stress about the situation that's going on. So they will turn to social media. They'll play video games. They'll watch YouTube videos. It's no shock that when most people are home, they're more likely to play video games and watch YouTube videos. Like I said, it's a direct correlation. I don't know how the New York Times can't put 2 and 2 together and figure this out. More like garbage times, if you ask me. Children turn to screens because they say they have no alternative activities or entertainment. Because they say they have no alternative activities? No, it's because they have no alternative activities. They can't do anything else. There's nothing else to do. What else do you have to do at home? What else do you have to do? Play board games? There is nothing else to do because they say. No, it's because it's a fact. They have nothing else to do. Oh my God. So these people that write these articles. So I take it away and they do what? A puzzle? Learn to sew? Knit? I don't know what the expectations are, said Paraskevi Briasuli, a corporate writer who is raising 4 children ages 8, 6, 3, and 1 with her husband in a 2-bedroom Manhattan apartment. Device time has replaced sports on weekday afternoons and soared 70% on weekends, he said. Yes, because kids can't go outside because of the virus situation that is going on right now. So going through this article, there's even more stupid things in here. For instance, Dr. Humphrey said people who smoke and drink at a bar where they meet with friends may find it harder to quit smoking because there is the extra reinforcement of alcohol and friendship mixed into the experience. Similarly, he said, children now associate their device with multiple forms of pleasure, and so disconnecting them during the pandemic has been like trying to preach abstinence in a bar. Look, the only thing I'll say about this paragraph, they're comparing smoking and drinking to playing video games. Just keep that in mind. This is a so-called doctor who is an expert on drug addiction, and she is comparing video games to alcohol and cigarettes. This is the type of person that you don't want. This is the exact type of person you don't want doing these video game studies because these people have no idea what they're talking about. That's the only thing I'll say on that. That's just I don't know how much more clear I can be in explaining this, but I think pretty much everybody watching this video knows that you can't compare playing video games to drinking and smoking. But guys, despite everything that I've covered in this article, that's not even the worst part. The worst part of this article is this single paragraph right here. The family dog died on New Year's Eve, and James said that playing video games with his friends helped him not to think about the loss. This concerned his mother, Kathleen Reichert, who felt that her son was escaping the emotions of real life. Seriously? Really? Right now? Come on. I can completely understand this kid's perspective. His dog died, which he probably loved and cared for his dog a lot. And after his dog died, he was trying to find some way not to think about it because every single time he would think about it, he would get sad. And when he plays with his friends on video games, he talks to his friends, he has fun, he doesn't think about it as much. That's good for him because he's not constantly sad about it. He doesn't have to be reminded about it. He still loves his dog. He still misses his dog, but at least it takes his mind off of it for a little bit, that he doesn't have to think about it. That's good. And when the mother is concerned that her son is trying to escape the emotions of real life. One of the good things about video games is that when you play video games, you can take a lot of stress off because you don't have to worry about stuff going on in your life. You can just play video games and ignore all that stuff for a little bit. That's one of the good things about video games. And now you're trying to take the one thing away from your child that would basically have him constantly thinking about how his dog died, that would make him sad. So being able to talk to his friends, having fun with his friends, you're going to take that away from your child? And then what is your child going to have after that? What else is he going to have? He's going to be isolated. He misses his dog. His mental state is going to be worse. Honestly, this is so ridiculous and so stupid. And then it says, what are you going to do when you're married and stressed? Tell your wife that you need to play Xbox, she said to her son during the interview. As a new semester started, the parents put new rules into effect. No Xbox or phone during the weekdays for at least a few weeks, and their use will have to be earned for the weekends through chores. Miss Reichert feels wrenched by the whole thing. Before the pandemic, James had so many options, she said, adding, now it makes me feel badly when I try to restrict him. It's his only socialization. Why would you want to restrict him if that's his only socialization? If that's the only way that he can communicate with his friends during this crisis right now, he can take his mind off of the stress. He can take his mind off of the fact that he can't do all these other activities. He can take his mind off of his dog that passed away. Instead, you want to take the one thing away from your child that's keeping him happy and entertained during this. And this is a good way to make your child dislike you. This is a perfect way to make your child dislike you. Imagine this, parents taking the Xbox away. Oh, well, you're spending way too much time on Xbox. How dare you socialize with your friends? Guess what? We're shutting this off. Now what you're going to do is you're going to sit here on the couch and just stare at the ceiling for hours. That is exactly like what I see this as. This is just stupid and ridiculous. And the last thing I'll say about this stupid media that's hyping this whole thing up just to attract more viewers, to sell more newspapers, to gain more views because they're in the media, they're a business. When they get higher ratings, they get more money. When this crisis ends, I don't know when this crisis is going to end. Whenever it ends, when everything finally goes back to normal, whenever that is, kids are going to be going back to school. They're going to be doing sports again. They're going to be going outside and playing with their friends. Do you honestly think that when this crisis ends, the first thing that kids are going to do is say, oh, let me stay inside and just play video games all day? No, that is not what's going to happen. Imagine if you're a kid in middle school and you haven't been able to play sports for nearly a year with your friends. And then the situation finally ends. The crisis is over. Everyone can go meet up with people. Everyone can play sports again. You know what those kids are going to do? The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to go and play sports. That is the first thing that they're going to do. They're going to go and meet up with their friends because they haven't seen their friends in so long. They're not going to sit at home and play video games. They're sitting at home and playing video games a lot more than usual now because that's their only form of entertainment, and that's how they can still socialize with their friends. But the garbage New York Times here can't seem to figure that out. They can't seem to put two and two together and figure out why kids are playing video games more. Instead, they hype this stuff up and just turn it into a ridiculous clickbait article just to gain more views and to gain more ratings from the parents. It's just disgusting. It's ridiculous. Whoever wrote this article should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. And that statement on the dog, I just still can't get over that. That just honestly pisses me off. That it's the one thing that is taking the child's mind off of his dog that passed away, and they want to take that away from him. That he doesn't have to be sad about that all the time. At least he's playing with his friends. He can take his mind off that for some time. It doesn't mean that it's going to be completely gone. He's going to still always remember his dog, but right now it's allowing him to cope so he doesn't have to constantly be sad, and they want to take that away from him. That's just disgusting. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, and if you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.